I recently attended interview with IBM, okay, as 8+ years of experience in Java field in IT sector. So let's understand like what all kind of question that has been asked to me as a 8+ years candidate. The first question was about project. So basically any interview you give, so first question will be mostly on projects. So what all kind of projects you have worked upon. They will deep dive into what all technologies or tech stacks you have implemented in your end-to-end project development. Okay, so they will ask you in-depth analysis like exactly what system design you have implemented, what all data structures you have implemented, why you have chosen that collection only apart from other collections available. So they can ask you any form of question like database related questions like why you have chosen RDBMS over NoSQL database. So those kind of questions you should be ready with. If you have made use of multi-threading in your application, so questions can be based upon that as well. Like how multi-threading works in your application, how you have made use of executor framework or completable feature to implement that multi-threading process. Have you made use of parallel stream or not? So whatever things you have implemented in your project, you should know about that end to end. Then only you will be able to answer that in the interview. So this you should be prepared, which will be common across all the interviews. So you should be prepared accordingly. Okay, so try to write that out. Okay, try to write it down in your notepad and try to rehearse it for better practice. So that is the first question. Second question, as you all know, which is common across all 80 to 90% interviews, this will be asked like, what is a string class? Okay, so and why string is immutable? What are the benefits of string being immutable? So there can be multiple types of question that can be asked on string. So string is very important concept. Okay, so this is very important to understand. So first of all, string is immutable. So why string is immutable? So string is immutable because whenever we are creating the reference of that string with a new string, okay, and with that reference we are trying to create or assign to a new variable, okay, it will try to create a new instance altogether if I'm making use of same string. Okay, so it will not modify the existing object value. Okay, so if string s equal to new string hello, okay, so it will lie into where? It will lie into heap area, it will lie into non-constant pool. But the same string variable, if I am making use of to create a new string reference storing some other field, so what it will do, it will not modify the existing field, rather it will create a new instance altogether. So that's why it is very difficult or delete or modify the existing value of the string. So it becomes much more secured. Okay, so we can store password also because we can't modify the characters present within the string class. So that's why it is very much important to understand. Okay, then what are the advantages of string being immutable? So next question was, what are the advantages of string being immutable? So there are multiple advantages. So first advantage is like it stores only one copy, okay, in the string constant pool. Okay, so in heap memory it creates only one single copy of it. Okay, so that's why it saves memory, it saves space in the heap memory basically. Okay, so that's why string is much more important. Then second comes, it overrides hash code and equals method by default. Okay, we don't have to override it explicitly, so it is very much helpful in caching mechanism. So once the hash code method is called, so that part will be cached, okay, in the cache memory. So second time if I'm trying to add anything or creating an object, so if the same hash code method is called again, so it will take data from the cache memory. Okay, so one time hash code method is called and again it will call from the cache. So that is the advantages of internally implemented hash code and equals method. Okay, so how hash code equals method overwritten, that's a separate set of concepts, and those are also very important for interview. Like what happens if hash code returns one always, equals method true returns true always. So those type of questions also should be aware of. Okay, and there can be various other reasons like string is thread safe. Okay, those same string variable can be distributed across multiple threads. Okay, so that's why the string becomes thread safe. Okay, and due to it being thread safe, we can't modify the data. Okay, we can't modify the existing data because if one thread is working on that particular thread, the other thread will not be able to modify the existing thread. Okay, so we can store password data or highly sensitive data also, we can store it within string class. So these are some of the advantages that we can understand of string being immutable. So these 4-5 pointers I will put it down in the description box, you can go through that, you will get the idea on it. So next is, what is marker interface? So you should be prepared with this, like what is marker interface, why it is used. So marker interface is an interface which has only method declaration. There is no method definition. There is no method body. Then next question arises, like why we make use of marker interface then. So marker interface provides the capabilities, or it provides the flexibility to the classes implementing that marker interface. Okay, so let's suppose we are making use of serializable interface or clonable interface. Okay, so what happens when a class implements serializable interface? By the way, serializable is a marker interface. So what happens when a class implements serializable interface? So automatically there is serial version UID which gets generated. Okay, so it provides the capability to the class which implements serializable interface, that it will help to make that class serializable. So again, you have to understand what is serializable. So it's a process of basically converting Java object into stream of bytes. Okay, that is serializable process. So during that process, what happens? There is a serial version UID which gets generated while doing the serialization. Okay, so that's why it gives you warning that provide default serial version, generated serial version. Okay, so if you provide that, it will make use of that serial version UID to serialize the Java object into the data which is being sent to or transferred to a stream of bytes over to notepad or text file or excel file or database, anything. Okay, so that while doing deserialization, it will check that particular version UID, so it will match, then only it will be able to deserialize, otherwise it will not be able to deserialize. So that's why serial version UID is very important, and that's why marker interface, so everything is interlinked. Okay, so basically marker interface provides certain capabilities to the class implementing the interface. So this is the one line answer that we can provide. Next is, what is the use of clonable interface, where we generally use clonable interface. So these type of questions can come. So clonable interface is a marker interface because it doesn't have any method. So this is very important. Okay, what is the advantages of clonable interface? So basically, whenever you are implementing clonable interface, then we can make use of clone method, and within that clone method we can write the logic where we can provide a condition like functionalities it should implement, what should be, what output you want to have. So let's suppose in case of serialization, we can break serialization process with the help of clonable, right? So if you are doing the cloning, then we can break the serialization process. So you can check the hash code value before cloning, and after cloning you will see like hash code value differs. So that means it creates a different object altogether. So how can we resolve this process of breaking singleton design pattern via cloning? So in that, basically we can override clone method, and there we can write condition like if reference is not null. Okay, that means the reference is already present, then throw new clone not supported exception with some message. So that thing you have to write within clone method, then only JVM will understand yes, this particular reference has already been created and you are trying to create a new reference altogether, so it will not allow. So that is the advantage of clonable interface basically. So this way you have to tell to the interviewer. Second, next question was, what's the difference between deep copy and shallow copy? This is very much crucial. Okay, so how can you make a class an immutable class? From there, okay, this concept comes into picture, like deep copy and shallow copy. So those two questions are very important. How to make a class an immutable class, and what's a deep copy and shallow copy. So to make a class immutable, this is one of the feature, we have to make use of deep copy. Okay, but the question is, like there are multiple type of fields, right? So there can be mutable fields as well, there can be immutable fields as well. So date class, map interface, list type interface implementation, if you are making use of in a class, so how can we make those mutable fields immutable? Okay, so there we have to make use of deep copy. So now what's the difference between shallow copy and deep copy? So basically we have to understand over here, shallow copy is something where if we are making use of some reference and we are changing the reference, let's suppose the same reference we are initializing with some new reference, and from that new reference, if we are changing its field, so initial reference values also will get changed. So let me show you with example, then you will get the understanding. I hope you can see my screen now. So basically what I am telling you here, so let's suppose I am writing employee E1 equal to new employee. We are passing certain fields like whatever ID 101, name, Dave. Okay, some values you are passing over here as employee E1. Okay, now what you are doing, you are creating the same reference. Let's suppose same reference you are using Now E2. Okay, so now you are doing employee E2 equal to E1, and now again you are doing employee E3 equal to E2. Like that, you are making use of some reference. So now what will I do? Let's suppose I am doing E3 dot set ID, and here I am setting ID as 103, let's suppose, and other data also we are setting. So what will happen in this scenario? So let's suppose I am changing the data of E3 and I'm changing the ID to 103. Okay, so in this scenario, if E3 reference data is getting changed, then it is E3 is pointing to E2. Okay, so if you observe, E3 is pointing to E2. Okay, E3 is pointing to E2. Then E2 is again pointing to E1. So what it will happen over here? So even fields will get changed. Okay, so if I'm changing the field of employee ID for E3, so automatically you will observe that even employee ID will also get changed to 103. If you try to execute it by yourself, you will get the idea of it. Okay, so this is called as shallow copy. So where if we are changing, if we are directing to that particular existing reference with a new employee reference, so any changes into the new references pointing to the existing reference, it will modify the existing reference fields. So that is basically shallow copy. So that should not happen, right? Otherwise, some other person will try to modify the existing data. Then what will happen? If they will modify the data, then all the previous fields values will get changed. So that will provide inconsistent output, right? So this we are not making use of it. So to resolve this issue, we are making use of deep copy. Okay, so what happens in deep copy? Let's understand now. So in deep copy, what happens? So let's suppose I'm doing the same example I'm taking. Employee E1 equal to new employee. Same data I am passing 101 and other details. But this time what I will do, I will not point it to the existing reference. Rather, I will create a new instance altogether. Employee E2 equal to again new employee 102, then other details. So what will happen in this scenario is employee E2 and employee E1 are different altogether. These two are not related in any way. Okay, so that what will happen in this scenario, E1 will point to ID 101, E2 will point to ID 102. So if I am trying to modify E2.setID as 105, then what will happen? It will modify the ID for employee E2. It will not modify E1. So that's why we are told, like in immutable class, we have to make mutable fields immutable. Okay, through deep copy, not shallow copy. So that is the advantage. So this question is being asked in interviews. So what's the difference between shallow copy and deep copy? I hope you got the idea of it. So this was it for deep copy versus shallow copy. Now the next question was this. So if I'm passing input as, so I'm passing A 2 times, I'm passing B 3 times, I'm passing C 2 times, and I'm passing A 2 times. So this I'm giving it as an input. So my output will look like A2, B3, C2, A2. So what it means, so how many times A is repeated, it will write the number over here, count of the occurrences of A in order. Okay, B repeating 3 times, so I will write B3. Okay, so like that we have to print for all the characters. So we have to make sure like you can't use hash map over here. Why? Because A is coming here also and A is coming at the last as well. Okay, so this we have to observe it very carefully. A is repeating 2 times. So don't make use of hash map. That is the sudden intuition comes to our mind. If we have to print the character count, so we can make use of hash map and print the count. Okay, so that way it will not work out. We have to think of some other logic over here. So this is basically a string compression question, which is coming as a part of string manipulation. So how to go ahead with this? Try to think it by your own. So now let's understand it step by step. How can we implement it? So what was given to me? I am given with a string s equal to a b b c c c c a. Like that something is given. So what will be my brute force approach to solve this problem? A normal way of solving this problem is I will go starting from this index. So first index will be starting from 0th index. I will go till the end index. So basically I will run a loop from I equal to 0 till length minus 1. Okay, I will go till here. So during that phase, what will happen? So whenever I is going to next index, it will check the previous index value. If the character is same, it will increase the counter by 1. Okay, so what will I do over here? So basically we can check it again with normal if condition or not, or we can do via for loop. So it's totally depend upon you. So I'm going it via brute force mechanism first. So what will happen? I will start for j equal to I plus 1, because I will check I plus 1 at position with the previous index. So I will go with I plus 1, then j less than len minus 1 j plus plus. Okay, then what will I do over here? If so basically we need to make use of counter also to count the number of elements over here. So you can take counter over here as 0. So if it matches, so no, we can't take 0 over here. We will take 1, because if it matches, so it's assumed that second character is matching with the first. So now counter will be 2, because there are two characters, right? Because it matches with the previous character. So what will I do over here? So if s dot char at j is equal to s dot char at I, then what will happen over here? If s dot char at j equal to s dot char at I, what will I do over here? I will increase the counter. Okay, my counter will keep on increasing. Okay, so what will happen? Second a is there, a here is matching with this a, my counter will be 2. Okay, then again I will come over here, a is matching with the ith index, which is a 0th index, so counter will become now 3. Okay, so now when counter comes here, when I comes here, so now b is not same as a, so I will write now if condition. So I will write now else condition for this. So what will be coming in the else part? So basically in else part, if it is not matching, so what will I do over here? I will reinitialize the counter to reinitialize the counter to 1, because now I will start counting for next set of element, and till this point of time, whatever was the value of the count for the previous element, I will write it there. Okay, so I will write system.out.println, I will append it. So whatever times it was coming, so I will append that particular character. So what I will append over here? S dot char at I, because that was the ith index that we are taking, and then we are appending it with, provide some space and then append with the count value. Okay, so whatever will be my count value over here, I will append it with that. Okay, I hope you can see it. Let me write it above. Okay, like this it will be happening. So what will happen if I'm doing dry run? It will check j at position, a is same, counter plus plus, then a is same, counter plus plus. As soon as b comes over here, then what will happen? It will go to else condition. Okay, counter will become 1 again. Okay, so before counter becomes 1, we need to print it. Okay, because if we are directly printing count equal to 1, then it will give the counter as 1. So what will I do over here? I will not print counter 1 over here. I will print counter 1 after SOP statement. Okay, so once SOP statement is printed, then after that I will put count equal to 1. Okay, and after that we will be breaking it. I will break out from this internal for loop. So this is the process basically we have to follow. Then again it will start checking for B. Then counter will be 1 for B. As soon as B is equal to B, counter will become 2 again. Then C is not equal to B, then it will go to else condition. It will print the character at ith position, which is B, and then the count of it. So like that it will go. Again it will break. Again it will go to next character basically. So like that it will keep on moving. So what will be the time complexity for this? So you will think like I'm running 2 for loops, so time complexity will be of n square, but that is not the case. So if you observe over here clearly, so here if you observe, I'm writing I'm writing AABBB. Okay. So what will be my time complexity over here? So try to see it very closely. When I is 0, j is starting from I plus 1, j is starting from here. Okay. So AA is same, then J again came here. This value is checking with this value, it is same. Then again J is coming here. J, this part B is not equal to this A. Okay, so it will go to else condition, it will print A and its count, and then again I will move to the next position. Okay, so basically I also should move to next position. Like here also I have to keep on moving I also. So if you observe, here it is counter plus plus, along with that you have to move I also. Okay, because I will also keep on moving, because if J is in B, J is pointing to B, I should not start from here, I should start from J index. Okay, so again I will point to this B. Okay, so now J will be equal to I plus 1, so J will start from this index. So B is equal to B, the counter will be equal to 1, I will be also incrementing. And if C is coming, C is not equal to this B, it will go to else condition, it will print B and the count of the B. Okay, and then after printing the count, again counter will be initialized to 1, and then it will break out from this for loop, internal for loop. Again it will go to, I will go to next index C. So like that it will keep on moving and it will iterate through the entire string. So this way it will resolve the problem. Okay, so another way is without using this second for loop. If is second for loop needed, so what will be the time complexity for this if I am making use of it? If I'm making use of second for loop, will the time complexity will be O of n square? No. Why? Because till 0 is there, J is running from I plus 1 till length. As soon as this condition is matching, then it will be counter will increase, else it will print the value character at I in counter, and then it will break out. Okay, so each element is getting traversed only once. It's not like one time AA is occurring, then again second time same set of characters traversed, then again it's not happening like that. Each set of element is being traversed only once. So time complexity for this one is O of m, let's suppose, and this one is O of m again. So it will be like O of 2m. This will be the time complexity for this. So I hope you got a clarity. So how it is being internally implemented. So already it is optimized version. So again, if you want to optimize from O of 2n to O of n, how can you do? So basically what you can do over here, you can remove this for loop. This for loop is internally not required. Why? Because one loop is already there. So you can check it here only. If s dot caret I plus 1 is equal to s dot caret I, is it there? If it happens, as well as we have to check if it is less than length minus 1, that also, because if it is going till the end index and it will go till I plus 1, it will go to check for I plus 1, then it may throw index out of bound exception. So to resolve this issue, we will be checking with if condition over here, like the I should be less than length minus 1, and then I array at I plus 1, if it is equal to array at I, then same set of condition needs to get followed. Okay, so let me share my code to you, then you will get the idea like what I'm trying to say. So here, if you observe, I've created make use of string buffer. Okay, you can make use of string buffer also. I have made use of string, so most optimized way is with the help of string buffer, because it will not take extra memory space. Okay, because it is appending to the existing reference. So what I'm doing, I am running a loop from 0 till length. J is running from I plus 1 to length. If J value character at J is equal to character at I, counter plus plus, I is also incrementing by 1. Else we are appending str.caret I with its count. Okay, and counter equal to 1 again, and then I am breaking it from here. Because I have already got a count, then why we should move ahead and check for next set. So J loop will be breaking it from here. Again, I will start from the new character, which was B. Okay, so same steps will move ahead, and all the character is being traversed only once. Okay, so that's why the time complexity will become O of n plus O of n. Okay, because this for loop is taking O of n, this for loop is taking O of n. So it is O of n plus n, which is O of 2n. So this is the flow, and at the end, what will happen? Okay, because here space was not there, so that's why I didn't able to show you on the whiteboard. So if you observe, if I'm going it like this, then last character will be left over. Okay, so it will keep on going through all the character till here. What will happen for the last character? If you observe, it will check str.caret J equal to s dot caret I. So it is going till length minus 1. Okay, if I plus 1, what is I plus 1? Let's suppose A. A is equal to M. No, it's not there, right? So it will go to else condition, and then it will print the ith value. It will print M. But what about A? I also need the count of A, right? So I am printing it separately. I am printing it separately. Okay, because we are not printing it the last character count. So for that, we are appending to the existing string buffer reference length minus one character and then its count. So here, if you observe, A is repeating 3 times, B is repeating 2 times, C is repeating 4 times, A is repeating 2 times, M is repeating 1 time, A is repeating 1 time. Let's suppose I am doing here M also. So now these are some edge cases I am showing you. Then output should be M2 here. Okay, so let me run it. It's showing M2. That means it's working perfectly fine. If last two characters are different and if last two characters are same, then what will happen? So these are the edge cases that we have to understand. Okay, so this was one of the way, and this is another way without the second for loop. So this was making use of two for loops. So it will be of 2n. So interviewer may tell you that how can we optimize this? So we can optimize it with one for loop only. So if you see over here, I have put the counter as one, string builder, same thing. Then one loop I am running, checking str.caret I is whether it is equal to I minus one or not. If it is equal, I am running the counter by one. Okay, and else what I'm doing, I'm appending character I minus one with the count, and then counter I am putting it to one again, because character at I is not equal to I minus one for this else condition. So that means it's a new character altogether, like A, then B came. B is a different character. So for that, I need a new counter, like B is repeating how many times. So I have initialized counter as one for the new character which is incoming. So now B is mapped with counter as one. So now again it will count it. So now counter will start increasing from one. So it is what it is like post increment. Okay, so first one is there in the memory, then one it will come here, then again two will be there. As soon as it becomes equal, like B is coming, like that it will proceed ahead. Then if C comes, then C is not equal to B, then it will move to else condition. It will append the B character and its count. Okay, and then counter will again initialize to one. So till the time it reaches to n minus one index, it will move as it is, and then at last it will print the last index. So this is very important for interview, guys. So last index and its count needs to be printed. So if I'm running a loop, so we are checking ith index and I minus 1th index. I'm starting it from 1 over here. Okay, so if it is matching, we are printing its count. If it's matching, we are printing its count. Okay, so like that, it's been moving ahead. So there is a chance, like once I am reaching the s dot length minus 1, till that time I am already printing I minus 1 at position. When I is at last index, len minus 1 at index, that point of time I'm printing I minus 1, which is len minus 2. Okay, so what about len minus 1 at index? So it will not print len minus 1 at index. So for that, I'm appending it explicitly at the end. Whatever the character present at length minus 1 index, I will be printing with its count. And then finally, I'm returning that string buffer, converting to toString. Okay, so let me run it. So here, if you observe, original string was this, then string compressed A3, B2, C4, A2, M1, A1. So let me modify it as M. Yeah, so see here, it is, everything is same. At last, it is M2. So, but whenever you are writing code, always check the edge cases. Like at the last, if two different characters are present, then it's working fine or not, or two same characters, then it's working fine or not. What happens if the initial two are same or initial two are different? So those are some edge cases that we need to understand. And I've written for decompression also, like whatever compressed string is there, then if interviewer tells you like you need to decompress this compressed string, then what will you do? So this is the homework for you. Try to write a decompressed format of the compressed string. Okay. So once you do the decompression, you will get more clarity on it. In this, one more question was asked, like how many, what all duplicates are present? We need to print all those characters which are having duplicates. So this was one more follow-up question on this existing question. So in that, I have not explained it because it's not that difficult. So you can stream on that string
and whatever character arrays will be there, you can just iterate through that, or you can stream on it, and then you can first group it based upon the character. So it will create a map with character and the count of that characters in the map format when we are doing grouping by. And then you can do filter with the value which are greater than 1, which map dot get value which is greater than 1. Those values which are greater than 1, the counter which are greater than 1, those keys I want. So in this way, if you move ahead, you will get all the duplicate characters from the string.
So this was it. So these were the set of questions that were being asked to me in IBM. I hope you got the clarity and understanding of it, and practice more and more questions on arrays, string manipulation, some classic question on linked list and stacks, because valid parentheses, some, so whatever classic problems are there, classic problems, you just go through that. So they will be covering mostly on those aspects only. Okay, before going to advanced data structure, first clear out all the basic level data structure problems which are most commonly asked. I hope you got the clarity on it. So we'll see you in the next videos with the next set of interview topics. Till then, it's Devjit Roy signing off. Bye bye.